What's up, VCs, founders, and the entrepreneur curious? You've made it, and you're here. It's Venture Daily with me, Peter Saddington. Welcome, everybody. It is great to be with you on this January 30th. We're almost through the month, guys. Can you believe this? Almost through the first month of 2020 already. Golly. I've been doing this YouTube game for so long, the content creation game for so many years now, that it's just, there's always some sort of, what's the word? Deja vu? There's always some sort of deja vu whenever we get close to the end of January. It's like, where has the time gone? Where are the months going? And if you're one of those individuals who's introspective in nature, at least I am, I always wonder, what have I achieved in the first month? What have I done? What have I accomplished? Let me know in the comments below what you've achieved this month of January so far, and encourage us, inspire us, guys. We have a great show for you today. A couple of news bits that we want to talk about. The whole DNA thing, 23andMe. Apparently, this is not as hot of a service as they imagine. So 23andMe, and apparently this service isn't as hot as they thought it was going to be. And I'll give you some of my color commentary around it, why I think that you shouldn't do this. But, you can leave a comment below and let me know if I'm off here. The second thing that we want to talk about is Jeff Bezos hack and the hacking and what happened and some of the ramifications of that. And the last news bit today that we're going to be covering is the government. Yes, the U.S. government is going to task when it comes to self-driving cars. So what's going to be the future? Are we going to fall behind in the self-driving car world? Is it really that big of a deal? Another thing I have to think about is infrastructure. Is America ready infrastructurally for a world in which there are tons of self-driving cars all over the place? Or is that just going to be a metropolitan issue? Those are today's news bits for today, guys. I'm feeling a little sniffly. I don't know why, but we're going to go over those three news bits. Then we're going to go to Venture Deals, and then we're going to talk about Kobe Bryant. Now, I haven't covered it in the last couple days or so, but I do want to just give a little bit of a shout-out to my man Kobe Bryant and his passing and all those who have been affected by it. So let's get into it, guys. Let's get into the show today. Here's our first news bit. 23andMe CEO Ann Wojcicki. I should probably figure out how to say these people's names. Ann Wojcicki. I know I got that wrong. Wojcicki is surprised that DNA test sales have declined. I'm not really that surprised. DNA testing company 23andMe just laid off 100 people, or roughly 14% of its workforce, reports CNBC. The downsizing comes at a time of declining sales and lack of enthusiasm for at-home DNA test kits. Now, I could have told you this, guys. It's been kind of proven, sort of proven. I know there's data on both sides that the whole DNA test, cha-ching, kabam, cha-ching. Suddenly, you're 10% African. And suddenly, cha-ching, you're 15% Asian. And cha-ching, suddenly you're, 2% Native American. I find that the results of these DNA tests to be pretty, well, let's just say not very good. CEO Ann Wojcicki, man, I don't know how to say her name, guys, says she was surprised to see that the market turned and isn't sure about what could have caused the lull. Could it be privacy fears? Maybe it's concern over an impending recession. This has been a slow and painful for us, she told CNBC. The data indicates the problem isn't unique to 23andMe. It's systemic. Sales have been down across the board for consumer-focused DNA tests. Since Fortune had given me this platform to share my opinion and allow me my 2 cents, I say that it ain't about the economy. It's about privacy. Wojcicki has announced that privacy is top of mind for 23andMe leadership. We assume a lot of things in life, and we tend to also be pretty trusting. Even I, the author of this particular article, said that a person who writes about privacy and data breaches all the time would have happily jumped on the at-home DNA test bandwagon if it wasn't for my mom begging me not to volunteer my genetic information to a random company. My argument was that I need to get my DNA tested to better understand if I'm predisposed to liking vanilla or chocolate ice cream, better than somewhat. I guess that wasn't that convincing. So here's the thing. During the at-home DNA test boom, many people who wanted to learn more about their family tree didn't realize that their data could be shared for other purposes. Consumer DNA testing companies can share users' data with law enforcement, drug makers, and even app developers. For 60 years, 23andMe followed or allowed third-party app developers to use the company's anonymized data sets until finally cutting off access in 2018. But more than 26 million people have willingly shared their DNA with one of the 4 leading ancestry and health databases. But now an increasing number of people are aware of the dangers of giving up your data. The implications of privacy around genetic information came into full view when police used a genealogy website to track down a suspect in the decade-old case of the Golden State Killer. Last year, Family Tree DNA, an early pioneer of the rapidly growing market, granted the FBI access to its database of nearly 2 million genetic profiles. Margot Georgiadis, president and CEO of Ancestry, said that her company does not cooperate with law enforcement unless compelled by a court order. In 2018, she said the company had 10 requests from law enforcement, but those inquiries were not related to credit card fraud, not genetics. Quote, there's no question in the industry as a whole, other actors have chosen to go down a different path and not meet the highest standards. Georgiadis said to Fortune's 2019 Brainstorm Tech Conference in Aspen, Colorado. She said consumers need to understand that they do have a choice and that there are real differences between companies. Well, let me know in the comments below if you're one of those individuals who has given over your DNA or your spit to a DNA testing facility. Now, this is just my opinion. Take it with a grain of salt. Here's the problem. If you're giving away genetic information and they can leverage that genetic information to build other things, did you really want them to leverage your information? What about the conspiracies, guys? What about the conspiracies?
Nope.
What about the conspiracies that they could use that data to clone you or to leverage your DNA for powerful or superpowers or something? I don't know. Am I going crazy here? All I know is I just don't feel like it's a good idea to give information over to a company in which you don't fully know what they're going to be doing with it. And let's be honest, the results in my opinion are pretty crappy. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Next news item, what's up with the Bezos hack? Well, it seems like it's sending some shockwaves. If Jeff Bezos' phone can be hacked, anyone can. Axios' Scott Rosenberg reports. So what's driving this news? Reports emerged this week alleging that Jeff Bezos' iPhone was compromised in 2018 after the Amazon founder and Washington Post owner received a video file in a WhatsApp message sent by Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, or MBS. The news sent tremors through Washington and Silicon Valley. So, what really happened here? According to a forensic report, Bezos commissioned and that informed a statement from the UN human rights officials. Soon after Bezos received the message from MBS, his phone began transmitting large quantities of data. Looks like they're taking the vacuum to Jeff Bezos' personal life. Months later, the billionaire's private messages and photos turned up in the hands of the National Enquirer, which then, according to a statement Bezos published, tried to blackmail him. Oops. Looks like you shouldn't have had all those compromising photos on there, Jeff. Saudi Arabia has denied any role in hacking Bezos' phone and disputes any involvement with MBS. Of note, though, the hack came just months before the killing of journalist Jamal Khashoggi, whose sharp criticisms of the Saudi government ran in Bezos' Washington Post. The CIA concluded that MBS ordered Khashoggi's death. And this is why in some areas, when I don't get to thinking about this too often, my friends, but I will say this. There are sometimes benefits of not being rich and famous because you're not a target. And frankly, for the rest of us normies like me, our lives aren't that important. So I can kind of feel good that even though Jeff Bezos' phone was hacked, and that means that pretty much any phone can be hacked, what are you going to find on my phone? Cats and go-karts, guys. Cats and go-karts. Some security experts are questioning the thoroughness of the forensic report's work and its attribution of the attack to MBS per Cyberscoop. In terms of Axios' thought bubble, well, Bezos isn't a clueless newbie. He's been online since Amazon opened its website over 25 years ago, and it's not even clear from the forensic report whether he ever clicked on the video. Here's some more background, though. In 2014, Sony Pictures' hack exposed the vulnerability of companies to having all their emails and files dumped on the open internet. In 2016, hacks of the DNC and the Clinton campaign exposed the similarly vulnerability of political organizations. But from what I understand, that actually wasn't an international hack by Russians. It was actually an insider from the DNC, and his name was Seth Rich. Now, it's dawning on executives, managers, and everyday people that if the richest person on the planet, who is a veteran technologist, can't protect himself and his data, then everyone is vulnerable. So we can read between the lines here a little bit. It's one thing to think of cyber attacks as a devious operations against factories and power plants or spammy barrages of suspicious come-ons. In the world of Bezos MBS, Caper shows us the most commonplace and mundane communications are actually becoming weaponized. Yeah, but not your stuff. Most of us aren't billionaires and aren't receiving texts from Saudi princes. If we're not as important as Jeff Bezos, then maybe we won't be targeted. Maybe that's the truism right there. We're not going to be targeted. That's pretty much what I said. That thinking represents one version of what experts call security through obscurity, and it makes sense up to a point. The comfort it offers, though, is hardly reliable and only applies while the tools for targeting individuals remains costly. Most software gets cheaper over time. So who are the winners here? Well, nobody really wins. But some of the losers when it comes to this Bezos hacking, well, one of them is WhatsApp, the service owned by Facebook. WhatsApp originated as a privacy-oriented, fully encrypted messaging channel, and it was initially embraced by activists and dissidents, but it's not looking very secure right now. Another loser, the NSO Group, the Israel-based security firm whose Pegasus tool is the forensic report, cites as the most likely culprit in the Bezos hacking. NSO unequivocally denies its software played any role. Other losers, well, the Saudis for one, who may find a lot of their messages sitting unread in recipients' boxes. Friends of the Saudis include Jared Kushner, who is widely reported to be WhatsApp pals with MBS, and President Trump, whose casual approach to smartphone security has troubled security experts going back to the administration's early days. Well, I still disagree with this particular article. I don't think that you and I are, we could get hacked. That's true. I mean, any phone can get hacked. My stuff's been hacked before. It's kind of part of the new normal in the technology game. If you're online, there's a chance you're going to be hacked. But are they going to be pulling down tons of information and making your life hell? Probably not. Because you and I, we're not that important. Now, they can create a lot of problems in life. I've experienced this, having had my identity hacked, and I had to put, like a life lock or whatever it's called, and freeze all my accounts. I've been there. It's part of life. But is it going to get worse? That's the real question. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Last but not least, guys, we're going to be talking about autonomous vehicles. Is this really in our future? Government agencies collide over airwaves for road safety tech. Two arms of the Trump administration are facing off over airwaves, long set aside so cars can eventually communicate with each other. Axios' Margaret Harding reports. So what's happening? The Transportation Department is pouring money into what it says will be a life-saving connected car tech that would ride on these mostly unused airwaves. Meanwhile, the Federal Communications Commission is moving to reallocate most of the same spectrum to expand Wi-Fi services. So why does this matter? Well, apparently the DOT argues, or the Department of Transportation argues, that it is if the FCC prevails, and it's currently in the driver's seat, lives will be lost, and America will fall behind in the development of self-driving cars. The FCC says automakers squandered a chance to use the dedicated spectrum, and now it should be shared to support exploding demand for mobile services and smartphones. The FCC proposes repurposing some 45 of the 75 megahertz frequencies, total of so-called safety spectrum for Wi-Fi, leaving 30 megahertz for connected cars. Safety advocates and the Department of Transportation say that that's not enough and worry that the commercial Wi-Fi will interfere with vehicle-to-vehicle communications in an emergency, rendering the technology unworkable even with some spectrum left intact for it. So what's the big picture? The dispute pits two Washington power brokers against one another. Ajit Pai is the Trump-appointed chairman of the FCC, an independent agency overseen by Congress, and Elaine Chao is transportation secretary and also married to Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. There's no conflict of interest in any of these government agencies, is there? So what are they saying? Well, the standoff is growing increasingly hostile. Ooh, the power of these airwaves, guys. Chao has urged Pai to call off his plan, taking to several January speeches to press the DOT's view that all of the spectrum should remain dedicated to auto safety. Quote, the DOT has significant concerns with the commission's proposal, she wrote Pai in a November letter saying that it jeopardizes significant transportation safety benefits that the allocation of this band was meant to foster. An FCC spokesperson tells Axios the proposal offers a balanced approach by providing spectrum for both transportation safety and Wi-Fi. Quote, we would encourage the Department of Transportation to contribute productively to this important discussion rather than devoting its efforts to defending the failed status quo. So what should we be watching out for? The FCC is an independent agency, and its bipartisan members voted 5-0 to proceed with the reallocation. A reality not lost on DOT officials, they admit privately. But the DOT seems to be counting on a groundswell of opposition from first responders and advocacy groups like Mothers Against Drunk Driving and the National Foundation for the Blind to convince the FCC to rethink its plan. If there is enough of an uproar, Congress could get involved too. The leaders of the House and Transportation and Infrastructure Committee sent a letter to the FCC on Wednesday expressing substantial concerns over the proposal. A commitment period on the FCC's proposal is expected to begin soon. So what's the bottom line here? Well, Chao will have to hope for a public uproar against the FCC's plan, or else expend some of her substantial political capital to keep the road safety tech from losing out to the push for faster internet speeds. That's an interesting question. The demand is I think it's going to be really interesting to see, aside from the advocacy groups, what the market actually says. How is the market going to actually respond? You see, the average normie, the average American, the average person in America doesn't really care about these types of policies until it actually affects their working lives or their personal lives. You know what I'm saying? And so if these extra bands, these extra frequencies are leveraged for car-to-car communication and internet, but the internet side is getting choked and customers and consumers are feeling the burn, then they'll complain. Right now, I don't see, when it comes to car-to-car connections, I don't see a huge market demand for that. Generally, well, right now, let's put it that way, not right now. And the reason is the average American has no need for your Honda Fit to communicate with a BMW 3 Series. What's the point? Now, being in the cryptocurrency and blockchain space, I've seen lots of technology that's leveraging blockchain and cryptocurrency to have cars speak to other entities like your mechanic, like your auto body shop, like your car dealership, like tolls, like gates, these types of things. I've seen that. However, with the rise of HOV lanes with stickers that you can put in your window, so that allow you to go into those particular areas, we already have infrastructure that works. And so car-to-car communications, autonomous vehicles, I almost feel like this is more of a political battle than actually a pragmatic one. I mean, let's be honest. When are we going to be living in a world with autonomous driving vehicles all over the place? Maybe I'm losing my mind. Maybe it's going to happen in this decade. You let me know your thoughts in the comments below. True startup story, guys. You got it. Your company just got seed round financed. Congratulations. You're going to the moon. But now you have to scale. You found great talent out in California, New York, Georgia, and even Eastern Europe. So what communications platform will you be using to ensure your international team is always aligned? Well, the answer is easy. Slack.com for Teams. We've used Slack for all of our previous startups, and they've supported us in tremendous ways. And we want to give them a thanks today for supporting vchunting.com. Did you also know that Slack is a great tool for personal use? Yeah, I use my own personal Slack channel to drop in documents, notes, to-dos, and follow-ups to ensure that my workflow throughout the day is right on course. I promise you, if you try out slack.com for personal use, you'll end up using it for your team as well. Go to slack.com to check it out. Welcome back, everybody, to Venture Daily, the world's fastest growing daily show in all of venture media. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at AgilePeter and on TikTok and Instagram at VC Hunting. Make sure as well to follow The Daily Hunt or subscribe to The Daily Hunt, our daily newsletter where we're dropping news that you can use every day. And let's move on to the venture deals for January 30th, 2020. There's not too many today, and that's okay. Let's get into it. Following up with the whole idea of me not having any ability to actually pronounce names, I'm going to start off with a name that I'm probably going to mispronounce. It's Canaron, or Neron, a San Diego-based on-device edge artificial intelligence raised $40 million in funding. Horizon Ventures led the round. Clubhouse, a New York-based developer of collaborative tools for software teams, raised $25 million in Series B funding. Greylock Partners led the round. You know what? I'm going to check this out. Clubhouse. It sounds kind of cute, right? But it's a New York-based developer of collaborative tools for software teams. So, I see. It looks like Trello. Clubhouse is the collaborative home for software development and makes it easier and more enjoyable to plan and build with your teams. So it's basically another iteration of Trello. Not bad, Clubhouse. Beacon Platform, a New York-based vendor of cloud-based enterprise technology and capital market software solutions, raised $20 million in Series B funding. Centana Growth Partners led the round. CloudKnock Security, a Sunnyvale, California-based developer of cloud security software, raised $12 million in funding. Sorensen Ventures led the round. Moov, M-O-O-V, a Mountain View, California-based data-fueled marketplace for used manufacturing equipment, raised $2.4 million in seed funding. NFX led the round. Congratulations. You got your seed funding. Now you have to spend it and deploy it. I'm curious, though. I'm curious about this Moov. What is this all about? Manufacturing equipment? The future of equipment purchasing. Moov is the world's first real-time interactive platform for buying and selling pre-owned manufacturing equipment. Holy cow. Well, I guess if you're in the world of heavy machinery, then Moov might be the place. Moov might be the place to get your cheap heavy machinery, guys. TPG Growth agreed to acquire Denali Water Solutions, a Russellville, Arkansas-based organic residuals management company from the Firmament Group. Ooh, the Firmament, guys. You know what that's all about, the Firmament. Novacap, last but not least, Novacap agreed to sell Interlod Medical Systems, a Canada-based provider of medical imaging software and enterprise workflow solutions, to HG. Financial terms weren't disclosed. Well, those are your venture deals for January 30th, 2020, guys. We always want to know where the money is going and where the money is flowing.
Did you know that there's even more value than just audio or video? Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at VC Hunting, and make sure to sign up for the VC Hunting newsletter, where you'll be able to get weekly news on venture capital, startups, founder stories, and the occasional wisdom extracted from Peter's brain. Go to vchunting.com to sign up. And now, back to the episode.
Welcome, guys, to the final word of today's show on Venture Daily. And in today's final word, I want to give a shout out. I guess maybe that's not the right word, but I want to give some parting words to Kobe Bryant and his family and extended family and friends. All those who were impacted by his life, not necessarily his death. It is unfortunate to see such an accomplished man such as Kobe Bryant leave this world so early. It's amazing. I realized this because I was reading an article. He's 41 years old, basically the same age as me. So much life to live, so much life to give. The man was obviously a superstar on and off the court, spending time not only with his family, but spending time with others and helping others. Tons of charities, tons of events that he's put together and helping make the world a better place. Yeah. As I was scrolling through Twitter, I saw some salty people, mostly people who just are broken inside, and they want to focus on the negative. Yeah, he made some mistakes. But if we define everyone by their mistakes and their one or two big mistakes that they've made, then everyone should be shat on. Everyone should be looked at as a terrible person. I find it's fascinating when people pass and people leave this planet and they were amazing, powerful, and influential people, that some individuals in this world just want to focus on the one or two negative things that they did in life. I hope for those individuals out there who are using and leveraging Kobe Bryant's death as an opportunity to poke at the failings that he's had, I hope those broken people get exactly what they're looking for in life. But here's the point that I want to make to you guys. Life is daggone short. And this passing of Kobe Bryant made me sit back. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe that this man is no longer going to show us what he's capable of. The things that he had brewing. If you go over to Kobe Bryant's Twitter page and you scroll down, you'll see he had lots of ideas, lots of things that he had yet to do and desired to do in life. For today, guys, this Thursday, as we roll out, getting closer to the end of the month, hug your loved ones. Reach out to those that mean something to you. Ping them. Let them know you're thinking about them. Care about them. I promise you, at the end of the day, nothing's really going to matter other than the relationships you have. It's not going to matter the cars you drive, the house you have, and all the other minuscule successes in life. None of that really matters. At the end of the day, you want to be surrounded with people who care about you, who support you, and who love you. Hug those people today. Don't miss it. Don't miss this opportunity. I did that this morning. Right before my kids went out to school, I gave them a hug and a kiss, and I squeezed them just a little bit extra, because you never know when you're going to see them next. Guys, I hope I see you tomorrow, Friday, for our final show of the week. I'll see you next time.